Let's talk about presentational aids. And notice that I'm calling them presentational aids and not visual aids. When we think visual, we think something to look at. A presentational aid can be anything that appeals to any of our senses. The sense of taste, smell, sight, hearing, touch. So what can we use as a presentational aid? Well, your textbook says we can use people. People do make good presentational aids, and I want you to remember that the speaker cannot help but be a presentational aid. We're always looking at you. So if there's some way that you can enhance your presentation, maybe by what you wear or how you look on the day of your speech, it can help. For example, I had a student who was doing a speech on snow skiing, so he wore his snow skiing suit, brought his skis and his poles, and it worked well. If you ask somebody to help you as a presentational aid, make sure you practice with them so they know what you expect them to do, where you expect them to stand, because they can get in your way. Practice is essential. I would suggest to you, however, that children do not make good presentational aids. While that little girl may be just a doll at home, when you stand her before an audience of strange people in a strange environment, you may not get the same reaction that you got at home. People make good presentational aids. The second thing you can use, objects and models. Now, the difference between an object and a model is that the object is the real thing, while the model is a scaled replica of the real thing. For example, you could make your speech about the 2007 Ford Mustang. You could take us outside, we'd look at your new Mustang, or you may have a model of your Ford Mustang. I've had several speeches about Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and I've had students who have brought their Harleys, and I've had students who've brought models of their Harleys. You can use the object, or you can use a model. Another good presentational aid are graphics. Graphics, anything that you can put on paper, sketches, charts, posters, maps. Let's talk about those charts. You can make a pie chart, a line chart, a bar chart. If you're going to talk about a place, say a Civil War battle, you'll want to use a map, but a commercially prepared map does not make a good presentational aid. You'll want to draw one of your own so that you can enlarge it and show exactly the things you want to show on that map. Maps do make good presentational aids if they're big enough for me to see. When you use a poster, there are things that you need to be aware of. First of all, does the poster show really what you want us to see as an audience? Is it big enough? Can the people on the back see your poster? Is the poster neat and well done? When using a poster, do not display the poster until you're ready to use it in your speech. Remember that it's going to illustrate something that you're talking about. A good way to use the poster is to put a blank piece of poster board in front of your poster. Then when you're ready to use it, remove the blank piece of poster board, show us your poster, and then when you're finished, put the blank piece of poster board back. Or, if you'd rather, just turn it around so that we see the back of the poster until you're ready to display it. Turn it around. When you're finished, turn its back to the audience. You can also use pictures. Now, when I say pictures, I'm talking about small photographs. A small photograph is difficult for an audience to see, so the problem is their size. Now, you need to enlarge the picture if you want us to see it. An easy way to do that is just to make a PowerPoint slide out of it. The one thing to remember is do not pass pictures around during your speech. Never pass anything around during your speech, because what you do is you will kill your audience one person at a time. When I get your stack of photographs, I'm going to go through them. I'm not listening, and unless you're just really interesting, when I pass that stack of photographs to the person next to me, I'm out in la-la land. I don't want to hear any more of your speech unless you just really draw me back into it. Don't pass anything around. Make the pictures larger or make a PowerPoint slide. Another good presentational aid that I've discovered are videotapes. Now, originally I thought videotapes have no place in speech, but students have taught me that they really work well. I had a student who's on the rodeo team. He does steer wrestling. And so he told us all about the event. He described it to us, told us all about it. But when he showed us about a 10-second clip of him coming off the back of a horse onto the back of a steer, stopping that joker right in the middle of that rodeo arena, and then throwing him to the ground, I mean, that 10 seconds of video was worth the whole speech. Now, the problem with video is when you let the video become too much of your speech. Make sure that that's all it is just a presentational aid. It helps us see. It doesn't take over your speech. Audio tapes also make good presentational aids. I had a student who obviously was taking a music appreciation class because her speech was about periods in classical music. She told us about the composers. She told us about the characteristics of music during those periods. And then she played short excerpts from a famous song from each of those periods. That worked really well. Of course, you have the compact disc now, which make it a whole lot easier than the students who used to have to work with the old cassette tapes. So videotapes, audio tapes, compact discs, yes, they work as presentational aids. Just don't let them eat up your time. The thing I really want to impress upon you is to consider using PowerPoint. Business and industry today just expect PowerPoint presentations. Now, you have grown up in the technology age. You've been using PowerPoint since you were in the 6th grade, so you know more about PowerPoint than I do. I want you to check your text for the rules about PowerPoint. Keep it simple. Use light colors on a dark background or a dark color on a light background. Please do not use red on PowerPoint. It bleeds. Do not use fancy fonts. Keep it really simple with the font. An Arial font is really good. Keep the font big enough that we can see. Just really the simple is what I want to impress upon you. 6 by 6, no more than 6 words to a line and no more than 6 lines to a slide, and you'll have a pretty good PowerPoint. So we've talked about presentational aids, what you can use, how to use them. Now, let's go out there and use those presentational aids in our